So what effect does degradation have on your battery? Well, at a basic level, as you would imagine, it reduces the effective range of your vehicle. If your original WLTP range is 200 miles and your battery degrades by 5%, you're going to lose 10 miles from the maximum range. If it degrades by 20%, you're going to lose 40 miles from your range. In winter, the range loss is going to be higher because the cold weather will reduce the maximum range anyway. And we talked all about this in the cold weather episode number 292. The impression that many non-EV drivers have about degradation is that it matches that of a phone, and your battery will be dead within 3 years, often resulting in it being thrown into landfill, apparently. And that gives rise to what I call Schrodinger's battery. It's both too expensive to replace, but cheap enough to throw into landfill. Of course, neither of these things are actually accurate. There have been many studies done on battery degradation, and almost without exception, it's nowhere near as bad as people imagine. In fact, if you cast your mind back to the episode we did towards the start of this season with Dr. Marcus Berger from Evolute Battery Diagnostics, you remember that he showed a graphic of all the battery health results that they've got from the tests they've done over the years. And two things stood out to me from those graphics. First, the difference in degradation between full battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid vehicles, and second, the relatively low amount of degradation that occurs as vehicle mileage increases. Yes, there are outliers. The graph showed a couple of relatively low mileage vehicles with high battery wear. This could be due to a multitude of reasons, but the most likely is a faulty cell in the pack. But it also showed lots of high mileage vehicles with relatively low degradation, proving again that the battery health is much better than the naysayers would have you believe. So looping back to the beginning of this discussion, what's the best way to minimize battery degradation? Reduce heat, reduce cycling. The first one is making sure that your battery does not get unduly hot. This usually occurs through rapid charging, although to repeat what Ewan told us, heat's only a problem if it isn't dissipated quickly. The new BYD 1500 kilowatt chargers and associated batteries prove that that's the case. So how do you reduce heat? Well, minimize ultra-rapid charging. Minimize high power loads on the battery. Keep the vehicle out of direct sunlight, or at least extreme sunlight. A typical hot sunny day in the UK probably isn't going to be an issue, but 100 days of 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Phoenix, Arizona may well be. Secondly, reduce cycling. Now, this is more difficult. A cycle is when a battery is charged and discharged at 100%. This doesn't mean it's charged to 100%, then discharged to 100%. It means that 100% of the battery capacity has been put in and 100% has been taken out. So if you charge to 100, run it down to 50, then charge it up to 100%, that's half a cycle. If you do that twice, that's the full cycle. The more cycles a battery goes through, the more degradation will occur. Obviously, the more you use the vehicle, the more the battery will cycle. The more it cycles, the more it degrades, but not in isolation. A vehicle that's charged slowly and regularly in cool conditions rather than in heat can have a lower degradation than the same vehicle that's done the same mileage but has been rapid charged often and lives in a high heat environment, so it's complicated. I think it's worth saying at the moment that this is a minor issue in the big scheme of things. If you live in a really hot country and rapid charge your EV at high kilowatt values multiple times a day, then you might need to look at what that's doing to your battery degradation. But if you're not in that situation, and I suspect the vast majority of us are not in that situation, then you're probably not going to have as much of a problem with your battery, if you have any problem at all.